You've been wondering why you feel so isolated, why your phone stays silent, why invitations never come, why relationships keep slipping away, and why no one seems to truly understand you. You've questioned yourself, doubted yourself, and even blamed yourself. But listen carefully. This is not an accident. You are not forgotten. You are not cursed. You are not unloved. You are being set apart, prepared, and hidden for something so much bigger than you can see right now. There is a divine reason for your loneliness, and once you understand it, your entire perspective will shift forever. Because the truth is, chosen ones don't fit in. You were never meant to. Your spirit vibrates on a frequency most people can't handle. The conversations that excite them bore you. The desires that drive them don't move you. The paths they take were never meant to be yours. That's why, even when you try to connect, it feels like your soul is speaking a language no one else can understand. This isn't rejection. This is redirection. You've been pulled away from the crowd because the crowd could not carry what's inside you. But I know what you're thinking. If I'm chosen, why does it hurt so much? Why does it feel like everyone else is building friendships, starting families, enjoying companionship, while you sit in silence, wondering if something's wrong with you? Let me be clear. Nothing is wrong with you. You're not behind. You're not failing. You are being refined. Your isolation is the incubation of your transformation. Pause for a moment and hit the like button if this resonates with your spirit, because you need to hear the rest of this. Every time you've tried to force yourself into relationships that weren't meant for you, you felt drained. You gave more than you received. You poured into people who didn't even have the capacity to hold what you carried. And when they left, you felt broken. But they didn't leave because you weren't enough. They left because they weren't aligned with where God is taking you. Some people can walk with you in one season, but they can't survive the elevation. God is bringing in the next. There's something about chosen ones. Your energy exposes what others try to hide. Without even trying, you make people confront their own shadows. That's why they pull away. That's why friendships dissolve. That's why relationships collapse before they even truly begin. It's not because you're unworthy, it's because your spirit is different. And I need you to understand this. Being different is lonely, but it's also powerful. Your isolation is where God whispers the instructions others can't hear. While they're distracted by noise, you're being prepared in silence. While they're chasing validation, you're being grounded in authenticity. While they're building connections on surface-level desires, you're being rooted in divine purpose. But here's the part that no one tells you. Before God elevates you, He separates you. Before He blesses you, He strips you. Before He connects you to your tribe, He disconnects you from everyone who cannot handle your calling. It feels cruel now, but later you'll see that your solitude was sacred. You weren't abandoned, you were hidden. I know it's hard when everyone else seems surrounded by people while you sit in your room with nothing but your thoughts. I know the nights when silence feels like punishment. I know the ache of craving connection, but not finding anyone who truly sees you. But let me ask you something. Isn't there a part of you that knows deep down you were made for something more than shallow friendships and temporary bonds? Isn't there a part of you that feels destiny pulling you forward, even when you can't explain why? That's why your soul feels restless where others feel comfortable. That's why mediocrity suffocates you. That's why you've always been misunderstood. Because you were designed to walk a path most people will never take. And hear me carefully. The people who walked away from you didn't reject you, they protected you. God heard conversations you didn't. He saw intentions you couldn't. He removed people you thought you needed because their presence would have sabotaged your future. Every no, every ghosted message, every unanswered call was divine protection. You may not see it now, but one day you'll thank God for every door He closed, because behind those closed doors were distractions meant to delay your destiny. Your loneliness isn't permanent, it's purposeful. This is a divine season where God is teaching you to depend on Him, not them, where He's building your strength, sharpening your discernment, and aligning your spirit with people who will see you, value you, and walk with you without draining you. But those people aren't here yet because you're not done becoming the person who can lead them, love them, and build with them. There's a version of you rising from this season of isolation that's stronger, wiser, and more aligned than you've ever been. That's why you can't waste time begging people to stay. That's why you can't settle for connections that leave you empty. That's why you've been feeling an inner push to let go of what no longer feeds your soul. It's not heartbreak, it's evolution, and I need you to hear this in your bones. The reason you're alone right now is because God is preparing a table where the right people will sit. People who match your frequency. People who understand your vision. People who won't fear your light but will help you shine brighter. Your tribe is coming, but you must stay hidden until you're ready. The world doesn't understand your silence now, but soon they'll witness your emergence. That's why you can't quit in this season. That's why you can't compromise your calling just to fit in. That's why you must embrace your solitude as training, not punishment. Because soon, very soon, the very people who overlooked you will watch God elevate you in ways they can't explain. They'll wonder how you survived when they thought you'd break. They'll question how you built so much from nothing, and in that moment, you'll finally understand. You weren't meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. Have you ever wondered why the people you trusted the most were the first ones to abandon you? Why every time you tried to let someone into your heart, they ended up betraying you, misunderstanding you, or disappearing without explanation? Listen carefully. This isn't a coincidence, and it isn't punishment. It's divine positioning. When God sets you apart, He doesn't consult your feelings first. He sees what you can't. He hears the conversations behind closed doors, the hidden intentions behind fake smiles, the traps being set in places you've never been. So, when He removes certain people from your life, it feels painful, it feels lonely. But in reality, He's protecting you from betrayals that would have crushed you. You're not being rejected, you're being redirected. But here's the part most people miss. When you're chosen, your path can never look normal. You will not fit in where everyone else fits in. You will not bond where everyone else bonds. You will crave connections, but every attempt to belong will end in heartbreak or isolation. Why? Because God is training you to stand where most people can't. You can't carry divine wisdom if you're surrounded by noise. You can't hear God's voice clearly if you're constantly entangled in meaningless friendships or draining relationships. He separates you so He can speak to you directly, so He can pour into you without distraction, without influence, without interference. Your isolation is not a curse, it's preparation. Pause for a moment. Think about all the times you tried to force friendships, force love, force connection. Think about how exhausting it was. Think about how every single time something eventually broke. Now ask yourself, was that coincidence, or was it divine intervention? And deep down, you know the answer. You didn't lose those people. God removed them. But here's the twist you didn't expect. Some of the people you thought were for you were actually sent as distractions. Not everyone who smiles at you carries love in their heart. Some carry envy. Some carry hidden agendas. Some carry spiritual attacks you cannot see. You were kept apart because their presence would have polluted your purpose. This is why your heart aches differently than others. While they chase popularity, approval, and constant companionship, you are being called to walk a narrower road. And it hurts, because silence can be loud. Emptiness can feel heavy. But chosen ones, hear me clearly. God is building your strength, in the dark, away from the noise, because what He is preparing you for cannot be birthed in crowded places. And maybe right now, you feel forgotten. You scroll through endless pictures of people laughing together, holding hands, celebrating milestones, and a quiet thought whispers inside, why not me? But what you don't see is that God is working behind the scenes, aligning your destiny, removing counterfeits, and preparing authentic connections that won't require you to beg for love, beg for loyalty, or beg to be understood. Because when God decides to align you with people, they will see you for who you are without you explaining yourself. You won't have to chase, you won't have to shrink, you won't have to pretend. But for that alignment to happen, you must first be emptied. I want you to hear this as if it's just you and me right now. Your loneliness is not permanent. It's purposeful. It's building your discernment, sharpening your spirit, and teaching you how to stand without depending on people who were never meant to stay. But this is where it gets deeper. The more God elevates you, the fewer people can walk with you. Not because you're better than them, but because not everyone is built for the spiritual altitude you're climbing to. Some relationships suffocate when oxygen gets thin. Some friendships collapse when the weight of your calling becomes real. That's why you've been losing people left and right. That's why your circle keeps getting smaller. That's why the ones you thought would always be there slowly faded into the background. It isn't personal, it's spiritual. Chosen ones, your loneliness has been misunderstood, but soon you'll see why it had to be this way. What you're stepping into requires a heart that depends on God, not man. It requires ears trained to hear his whispers, not the chaos of the crowd. It requires a soul that knows solitude is not punishment, but power. And if you're listening right now with tears in your eyes, I need you to understand this one truth. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being hidden for protection, not rejection. But the real reason you've been alone, that's coming next. And when I tell you, it'll shift how you see everything you've been through. Do you ever wonder why? No matter how much you try to connect, the friendships you invest in always fall apart. Why the people you thought would stay forever suddenly disappear without explanation? It's not a curse. It's not rejection. It's divine protection. You are being set apart, not pushed away. The chosen ones often live in a realm of isolation, not because they are unworthy of love, but because their spirit operates at a different frequency. There's a reason you feel like you don't fit in anywhere. Why you can't fake smiles just to blend in. Why even when you're surrounded by people, you still feel unseen. It's because your soul was wired for depth, and the world around you often thrives on the surface. Most people aren't meant to understand you. They were never built to. And deep down, you know this. But here's the part they don't tell you. That emptiness you feel sometimes, that quiet ache when you see others in relationships, in tight circles of friends. It isn't punishment, it's preparation. God separates you because he doesn't want you tied to people, habits, or environments that would water down your purpose. What you think is rejection is actually divine redirection. You are not missing out. You are being positioned. Pause for a moment and let this sink in. The ones who walked away from you didn't really leave. They were removed. Every friendship that failed, every relationship that didn't work, every group that excluded you, it wasn't by accident. There were conversations about you in spiritual realms you'll never hear. Battles fought on your behalf you'll never see. Some people could not stay in your life because their presence would have altered your destiny. But here's the hard truth, and maybe you've felt this deeply. The chosen path is often the loneliest. You don't get to follow trends. You don't get to live like everyone else. While others are building temporary bonds, you're being called to something eternal. While others are chasing acceptance, you're being shaped into alignment. And because of this, you will often walk alone. Think about it. Have you noticed how, every time you try to lower your standards to fit in, something inside you feels restless? That discomfort isn't accidental. It's your spirit rejecting environments that cannot hold you. You weren't designed to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. That inner resistance is divine. A reminder that you are set apart for something greater than approval. Here's what most people don't realize. Friendships and relationships operate on energy, and your energy as a chosen one is different. It's pure, intense, and spiritually charged. And that's exactly why so many people can't handle you. Some are intimidated by your authenticity. Others are threatened by your light. And many, without even knowing why, will distance themselves from you because your presence exposes what they're hiding within themselves. But here's where it gets deeper. Some of the people you thought you lost, they were never truly yours. Their loyalty had an expiration date because their role in your story was temporary. God knew that if they stayed too long, they would pull you off the path He carefully carved for you. So He allowed the separation even when it broke you. What feels like loneliness now is the construction phase of your future. Every time you feel unseen, know this: heaven sees you. Every moment you feel forgotten, God whispers your name in divine conversations. Every time you wonder why no one chooses you, remember this: God already did. And when the time comes, the right people will be drawn to you effortlessly. People who align with your purpose. People who match your frequency. People who will not fear your light, but embrace it. But before they come, there's one more thing you need to understand. Solitude is your training ground. It's in your silence that God speaks the loudest. It's in your isolation that He refines your character, sharpens your discernment, and teaches you who you truly are. Friendships will come, relationships will come, but not until you're ready to handle them without losing yourself in them. Your loneliness is not a sign of failure, it's evidence of transformation. You are being prepared for connections that cannot be shaken, love that will not fade, and purpose that will not be compromised. This is why your journey feels heavier than others. This is why the path you walk feels so narrow. And this is why, until your spirit reaches alignment, God will keep you hidden. Not because you are unworthy, but because you are priceless. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You are in transition. And this season of solitude, it's building the strongest version of you the world has ever seen. And yet, there's something deeper still. Something I'll reveal next. The real spiritual reason why certain people are being repelled by your energy without you even doing anything. That's when you'll understand why no matter how hard you try, you cannot force connections that aren't destined for you. You've been asking yourself why people leave without reason, why they suddenly turn cold when you've done nothing but love them, why relationships you thought would last forever suddenly crumble before your eyes. And it hurts, doesn't it? It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder, am I hard to love? Am I too much or maybe not enough? But chosen one, listen carefully. None of this is happening because you're unworthy. It's happening because you are set apart. You've been placed on a path that others cannot walk with you. Not because they're bad, not because you're unlovable, but because your destiny requires isolation before elevation. This is divine orchestration, not rejection. And I need you to let that sink deep into your spirit. The people leaving are not betraying you. They are fulfilling prophecy. Sometimes, God separates you from certain people to protect you from battles you don't even know are coming. You're wondering why your circle keeps getting smaller, but you don't see the unseen conversations about you, the hidden envy, the silent jealousy, the energy that was never truly rooting for your rise. If you had kept some of those friends, they would have drowned you while pretending to save you. You would have been stuck in cycles meant to delay you. And here's the hardest part. Chosen ones often experience heartbreak, not because of who they love, but because of what they carry. Your spirit is too rare, your calling too heavy, and not everyone is capable of walking with someone who's been set apart. That's why relationships that felt perfect at first suddenly collapse. It wasn't love failing, it was alignment shifting. Pause here for a moment. I want you to breathe, because I know this message is piercing through your heart right now. If this is speaking to your soul, hit that like button and let me know in the comments. I receive this. Because chosen ones, we're not just talking, we're awakening something inside you. And let's be real, it feels unfair sometimes. Watching people you poured your heart into suddenly forget you. Watching those you trusted betray you. seeing everyone else celebrating milestones while you're stuck questioning why you're always the one left standing alone. But what you don't realize is that your alone season is not punishment. It is positioning. God is not keeping people away from you because He wants you to suffer. He's doing it because He's building you into someone who can't be broken by the wrong crowd. Do you feel that? That quiet pressure in your life right now? That's not loneliness. That's transformation. The reason you're not surrounded by people is because this chapter isn't about them. It's about you. God is stripping away every false attachment, every superficial friendship, every relationship built on convenience instead of purpose. He's creating space. Because the version of you that's rising requires room to breathe. Some of you are carrying wounds from people who left, and you're blaming yourself for their choices. But hear me, their departure was divine direction. If they were meant to stay, nothing could have pulled them away. And if they left, it's because they cannot go where you're going. Stop trying to drag people into a destiny that was never theirs to carry. This season is brutal, yes, but it's necessary. Your heart has been craving deep connections, real love, genuine support. And I promise you, it's coming. But first, you have to learn the difference between attachment and alignment. Not everyone who wants access to you deserves it. Not everyone who claps for you is clapping because they're happy for you. Some clap because they want a closer view of your downfall. And this is why God hides you. This is why He isolates you. This is why He puts you in a room where the only voice you hear is His. Because if you had too many distractions, you would lose sight of the blueprint He's writing for your life. You cannot fulfill a divine mission while drowning in noise. You cannot receive your instructions while entertaining every relationship that wants a piece of you. I know right now it feels like everyone else is moving ahead without you. They're in relationships, starting families, achieving milestones, while you're stuck wondering why your journey looks so different. But what you don't see is that God is building a foundation under you that cannot be shaken. He's preparing something so extraordinary that it requires more time, more pruning, and more patience than you thought you had. And here's the truth no one tells you. When your time comes, it's going to make sense why everyone had to leave. You will look back and realize that if those people had stayed, they would have distracted you, delayed you, and in some cases, even destroyed you. God knows what you don't. He sees what you can't. Chosen one, your path is narrow. Your circle will be small, but your impact, it's going to shake generations. And when the right people arrive, and they will, you won't have to chase them, beg them, or prove your worth. They will recognize you because they are aligned with the same frequency, the same mission, the same light. This season of isolation is not the end. It's the preparation for the becoming. Right now, you are being stretched. Your patience is being tested. Your faith is being refined. And though you feel hidden, heaven knows your name. But let me warn you, before the breakthrough, the loneliness intensifies. That's not a sign you're forgotten. It's confirmation that you're close. And deep down, you've been asking yourself the same haunting question. Why me? Why is it that no matter how kind, loving, and loyal you are, people still seem to drift away? Why is it that the very ones you tried to hold closest ended up hurting you the most? It's not a punishment, chosen one. It's positioning. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Because where God is taking you, not everyone can follow. The isolation you're experiencing is not accidental. It's a sacred separation, a divine recalibration of your life. You're being pulled out of the crowd because you were never designed to blend in. You were never meant to become another face in the noise. There's something about you, your light, your calling, your spirit, that threatens the comfort of those who haven't yet awakened. They can feel your depth even when you say nothing. They can sense your purpose even when you haven't spoken it aloud. And because of that, they either distance themselves or God Himself removes them before they sabotage the assignment He has placed on your life. Let's be real. You've had nights where the silence felt unbearable. Nights where you've stared at your phone, scrolling through old conversations, wondering why everyone you once loved became a stranger. And yet, in those same quiet nights, God has been whispering to your soul, "Be still. Trust me. I am rewriting your story." Pause for a moment and take this in. The very people who walked away from you weren't meant to stand where God is about to elevate you. Not everyone has the capacity to handle the weight of your destiny. If they stayed, they would only limit you. If they remained, they would only dilute your light. You're not losing people. You're shedding layers. You're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. And here's the divine truth no one told you. Before God multiplies, He separates. Before He blesses, He prunes. Before He reveals the next chapter, He closes doors you begged Him to keep open. Your loneliness is not abandonment, it's preparation. Right now, He's decluttering your life, removing counterfeit connections, temporary distractions, and toxic ties, because He's about to introduce you to divine replacements, people who match your energy, your frequency, and your purpose. But to recognize them when they arrive, you must first learn to walk this path alone. This is why your phone stays silent while others are flooded with messages. This is why relationships collapse right when you thought they were solid. This is why friends you once trusted now look at you like a stranger. It's not rejection, it's refinement. God is filtering your circle because your calling requires purity, and I know it hurts. I know there are moments you feel invisible, forgotten, and left behind, but chosen ones are never forgotten. They are hidden. You're not being overlooked, you're being preserved. God hides what He values. Just like a precious gem buried deep beneath the earth, you're being kept out of sight while He shapes you, refines you, and strengthens you for what's ahead. And maybe, just maybe, the very thing you've been praying for, love, belonging, understanding, is on its way. But first, God is making sure that your identity isn't rooted in anyone but Him. Because if you depend on people to validate you, you'll be crushed when they withdraw it. But when your worth comes from above, no rejection can shake you. So don't mistake this season of solitude for failure. It's favor. Don't confuse being set apart with being left behind. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. The silence is your classroom. The loneliness is your training ground. And while everyone else is chasing noise, God is teaching you to recognize His whisper. Something in your spirit already knows this. That the friends you thought you needed would have distracted you. That the relationship you thought would complete you would have drained you. That the approval you once chased was never meant to sustain you. You are being emptied so you can be filled again. Not with shallow connections, but with purpose-driven alignment. And here's the thing. Chosen ones are often misunderstood, even by those closest to them. People sense something different about you, but they can't name it. You trigger hidden insecurities in others without even trying. Your authenticity exposes their masks. Your courage magnifies their fears. Your light disrupts their shadows. And so they pull away, gossip, or even resent you. Not because you've wronged them, but because your existence challenges everything they've settled for. That's why God isolates you, not to punish you, but to protect what He's birthing within you. You are in the womb of transformation, and not everyone can handle the process. Some people only love you when you're small, when you fit their expectations, when you don't outgrow the box they put you in. But the moment your spirit starts expanding, they feel threatened. So God removes them, gently, silently, but permanently. And when the right ones come, chosen one, you won't have to chase, convince, or beg. They'll recognize you. They'll match your energy. They'll see your worth without explanation, because they too will be chosen. And chosen ones recognize each other. The season you're in right now is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. The silence feels heavy, but it's shaping you. The loneliness stings, but it's saving you. God is preparing you for relationships that will nourish you, not drain you, for connections that will elevate you, not diminish you, for love that reflects His heart, not wounds it. But before He can bring you into that season, He's teaching you the most vital lesson: how to stand alone without feeling empty. Because when you can stand with Him, you'll never settle for less than what aligns with His purpose for you. And this deep divine separation is only the beginning. What's coming next will make sense of everything you've endured. And deep down, you've always known it, haven't you? You've sensed it in the quiet moments, in the loneliness that clings to you like a shadow. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Every rejection, every failed connection, every unanswered call, every ghosted message, none of it was random. There's a divine orchestration behind it, something bigger than your mind can comprehend. You are being set apart because your purpose cannot be fulfilled in the noise of the crowd. And as much as it hurts, this isolation is the womb where the chosen are born. The silence you sit in now is louder in the spirit realm than you can imagine. Every unseen battle, every sleepless night, every prayer soaked with tears has been building you into someone unrecognizable to your past self. But here's the truth you need to hold on to. This separation is not meant to destroy your heart. It's meant to enlarge it. God removes people not to leave you empty, but to make space for what's coming. And if you're honest with yourself, some of the people you wanted so badly to stay in your life would have destroyed the version of you God is forming right now. That friend who drifted away, that relationship that crumbled, that community you never fit into, it's because your spirit was designed to breathe in a higher atmosphere than theirs. Pause for a moment. Feel that tug in your chest right now, that restlessness, that ache, that longing to belong somewhere you can't seem to find. That's your soul telling you this is not your final destination. You're not meant to settle where ordinary minds are satisfied. You're being called higher, deeper, further. But to get there, you must walk a road few dare to travel. And yes, that road will be lonely. That's why so few make it to the other side. But let me tell you something. No one else has had the courage to say, your loneliness is the proof you're chosen. You're not friendless, you're hidden. You're not unloved, you're preserved. You're not behind, you're being positioned. While others are busy building temporary connections, God is constructing something eternal inside you. That's why you can't seem to force friendships to last. That's why relationships feel heavy, complicated, mismatched. It's not you. It's divine protection. Listen closely. The very thing you're calling rejection is actually redirection. That unanswered text, protection, that cancelled plan, alignment, that betrayal you thought broke you. That was God removing a counterfeit before it could corrupt your destiny. Sometimes He lets them walk away because He's making room for what cannot fail you. You keep looking at what left, but God is focused on what's coming. Here's what you need to understand. Chosen ones can't walk with everyone. You carry a frequency in your spirit that not everyone can tune into. Most people won't understand your depth, your silence, your vision, or the way you process life. And that misunderstanding creates distance. But that distance is divine. God knows that the wrong voices in your ear could delay the very promise He's preparing you for. And you've probably felt it. That strange sense of being too much for some people, while feeling not enough for others. That's because you were never meant to fit in anywhere. You were meant to create a place of belonging for others one day. What you're going through isn't about punishment. It's about transformation. Take this moment seriously. Your isolation is the training ground for your calling. The battles you've fought alone. They're building a spiritual weight inside you that crowds can't handle. The tears you've cried in secret. They're watering the soil where you're next. Season's blessings will grow. The people who left, they didn't abandon you. They were released from you. But listen to me carefully. The shift is closer than you think. There's going to come a day when everything you've endured will suddenly make sense. The people, who doubted you will witness what God has been preparing in silence. The same voices that called you too distant, too quiet, too different, will have no choice but to acknowledge that you were set apart from the start. And that's why you can't quit now. You can't let the silence break you. Because the silence is not empty. It's sacred. It's where God whispers strategies no one else can hear. It's where He downloads visions no one else can see. And right now, while you feel invisible, heaven is preparing to reveal you. In the final part, we're going to step into the full revelation, why God has kept you hidden this long, what's coming next, and why everything you've endured is proof that your season of divine release is near.